When the world around you becomes sharp, cold and mechanical, the greatest rebellion is to stay warm, gentle and kind. People believe that to survive, you must harden your heart. But the truth is, the softer your heart, the stronger your spirit becomes. A soft heart doesn't mean weakness. It means being so powerful within that the outer noise cannot disturb your inner stillness. It is not about protecting yourself from pain, it's about transforming pain into deeper awareness. Sensitivity is the art of being fully alive. It is not a weakness or a burden, it is the ability to experience life in its most vivid form. Those who feel deeply often see and understand what others overlook. Their hearts are open enough to sense the subtleties of emotion, energy and truth. To be sensitive is to be aware, to be connected to every pulse of existence, to be in tune with the rhythm of life itself. A sensitive heart is not fragile, it is awake. When sensitivity is misunderstood, people try to suppress it, believing it makes them vulnerable. But in reality, suppression creates numbness, and numbness is the death of inner growth. The one who dulls their emotions may escape pain for a while, but also loses the ability to experience joy, compassion and connection. Sensitivity is the bridge between your inner world and the universe around you. When you feel deeply, you live authentically, without filters or pretensions. Every moment of deep feeling is an opportunity to evolve. When you allow yourself to sense life without resistance, even suffering becomes a teacher. It refines your understanding, humbles your mind and strengthens your soul. Sensitivity teaches you the language of silence, the wisdom of patience and the courage to remain open even when the world feels harsh. It transforms ordinary perception into profound awareness. In a world that glorifies hardness and emotional distance, choosing to remain sensitive is a radical act. It means refusing to let the noise of life close your heart. It means standing firm in your tenderness while the world rushes to toughen up. It is the strength of one who knows that feeling deeply is not about breaking down but about breaking open to truth, to love and to life. To understand the power of sensitivity is to realize that it is not about reacting more, but perceiving more. It allows you to see the beauty in pain, the lesson in chaos and the connection in every encounter. Sensitivity gives your spirit depth and that depth becomes your unshakable strength. It is not something to hide or fix, it is something to honor, nurture and live with pride. Detachment is not the rejection of emotion, it is the mastery of it. To detach does not mean to stop caring or to become distant from life. It means to rise above the constant push and pull of attachment that drains the spirit. A detached heart can still love, but it does so without chains. It gives without expecting, it helps without pride, and it understands without needing to control. Such detachment is not coldness, it is clarity, born from knowing that everything in life is temporary and ever-changing. When one becomes too attached, love turns into possession and care turns into fear. The mind begins to build walls around what it desires, afraid to lose it. In this way, attachment does not protect love, it suffocates it. Detachment, on the other hand, allows love to breathe. It frees both the giver and the receiver. It makes relationships more real because they are no longer ruled by fear or dependency, but by freedom and awareness. True detachment does not mean withdrawal from the world, it means the deeper participation without being enslaved by outcomes. A detached person walks through the chaos of life with calmness because they no longer identify with every storm. They act with full involvement, yet their peace remains untouched. Such detachment brings strength that cannot be shaken by failure, loss or misunderstanding. It is a silent power that turns vulnerability into resilience. Detachment also brings an immense sense of balance. It keeps emotions alive but pure. free from obsession or control. When you detach, you stop fighting against change and start flowing with it. Life becomes lighter, not because you care less, but because you carry it more wisely. The heart that understands detachment remains soft, yet unbreakable. It feels everything deeply but does not allow pain to become its identity. The one who practices detachment discovers freedom in the truest sense. They learn that peace does not come from owning or holding, but from allowing and releasing. Detachment gives birth to inner stillness where love, compassion and strength coexist without conflict. To be detached is to live fully and love fearlessly, to give your heart to the world without letting the world harden your heart. Pain is not an enemy, it is a silent teacher that speaks in a language only the heart can understand. Every wound you carry has carved depth into your being, shaping you into someone capable of feeling beyond the surface. The experience of pain cracks open the shell of the ego and exposes what is raw, real and tender within. When you stop running from it, pain reveals your greatest strength, the ability to understand and connect with others at the deepest level. Most people allow pain to turn them bitter because they resist it. They build walls around their hearts, thinking they are protecting themselves, but in truth, they are only cutting themselves off from life. The moment you stop fighting pain, it transforms. It begins to cleanse you, purify your intentions and make you more human. Pain is not there to destroy you, it is there to make you conscious of what truly matters. It shows you the fragility of existence and teaches you to value love, kindness and peace. When pain is embraced with awareness, it becomes compassion. Compassion is born when you realize that others too have walked through storms like yours. You begin to see beyond your suffering and into the shared essence of humanity. This shift turns your scars into bridges instead of barriers. You no longer seek revenge or pity, instead you wish for healing, not only for yourself, but for everyone who suffers. Transformation through pain requires courage. It demands that you sit with your emotions without judgment and let them speak their truth. In that raw space of vulnerability, wisdom grows. You begin to recognize that pain is not separate from love, it is a doorway back to love. Every tear that falls becomes a reminder of your capacity to feel, to care, to remain soft even when life hardens everything around you. To turn pain into compassion is to turn darkness into light. It is to allow suffering to refine you, not define you. Such transformation creates a heart that does not close itself in fear, but expands with understanding. The one who learns from pain becomes gentle but unbreakable, kind but strong. They no longer see life as a series of wounds, but as a journey of awakening through which love finds its purest form. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. It is the point where thought loses its control and consciousness takes command. In the stillness of silence, the constant noise of the world and the restless chatter of the mind begin to dissolve. This silence does not come from isolation or escape, but from mastery over one's own inner state. When you learn to be silent within, you stop reacting to everything outside. You become grounded, centered, and aware of a deeper rhythm moving through life. The human mind is like a crowded room filled with endless conversations, worries and memories. Each thought demands attention, pulling your energy in every direction. To practice inner silence is to walk out of that crowd and enter a vast, open space within yourself. In that space, clarity returns. The fog of confusion begins to fade, and you start seeing things as they are, not as your mind interprets them. Silence reveals truth because it removes distortion. It allows perception to become pure. Inner silence is not achieved by suppressing thoughts or emotions, it comes when you stop feeding them. You observe them rise and fall without interference. You let the mind speak, but do not become its echo. This silent observation creates distance between you and the chaos of thinking. That distance is peace. It is not something you create, it is something that emerges naturally when you stop identifying with every wave that passes through your mind. When you live with inner silence, your actions become more powerful because they come from awareness, not reaction. Words gain weight, decisions gain precision, and relationships gain depth. Silence is not passivity, it is power refined. It allows you to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. It makes your heart steady even when the world is unstable. A silent heart cannot be manipulated or disturbed because it listens more than it speaks. Silence is the highest form of strength. It connects you to something eternal beyond all noise, conflict and fear. It gives birth to peace that cannot be broken by external chaos. When silence becomes your companion, your presence itself begins to heal, calm and inspire others. The one who carries silence within carries the universe in balance, a harmony untouched by time, untouched by the noise of existence. Every wound carries within it a silent message that speaks of growth, awakening and strength. Pain is not merely something to endure, it is something to understand. When suffering enters life, it tears through the layers of illusion and pride, revealing what lies beneath. It exposes the depth of your humanity and shows you how fragile yet powerful you truly are. Every moment of pain has the potential to awaken compassion if you allow it to open you instead of closing you. Pain that is met with awareness becomes a sacred teacher, shaping you into someone capable of profound understanding. When pain is resisted, it turns into anger, resentment and bitterness. The more you fight it, the stronger it grips you. But when you face it with acceptance, it begins to lose its power. Acceptance does not mean submission, it means seeing pain as part of the human experience. It allows the storm to pass through you without destroying the foundation of your being. Pain can either harden your heart or polish it until it shines with empathy. The choice lies in whether you see pain as punishment or as purification. Those who have suffered deeply often carry a certain gentleness in their presence. They no longer rush to judge or condemn because they understand how fragile life can be. Compassion grows from this understanding. It is born when your suffering connects you to the suffering of others. You begin to see that everyone is fighting silent battles, everyone is carrying invisible scars. This realization transforms pain into a bridge that connects hearts rather than walls that separate them. Transforming pain into compassion also means using your experiences as a source of healing. When you help another rise from their darkness, you lighten your own. Your wounds become lamps that guide others through their storms. Pain that once burned you becomes the very fire that warms others. Through compassion, suffering loses its sting and turns into service. It teaches you that true strength does not come from avoidance, but from endurance, from staying open when it would be easier to shut down. To let your suffering teach you softness is the highest form of victory. It means you have turned something destructive into something divine. A heart that remains soft after being broken has touched true power. It no longer fears the world because it understands it. Compassion is not weakness, it is wisdom earned through the fire of experience. It is the courage to keep loving even when life has given you every reason to stop. The energy around you shapes the rhythm of your inner world. Every person, place and conversation leaves an imprint on your mind and emotions. When you surround yourself with chaos, conflict and negativity, it slowly seeps into your thoughts and begins to harden your heart. But when you choose to be among those who carry peace, clarity and understanding, Their presence becomes like a gentle wind that soothes and strengthens you. The energy you allow around you becomes the atmosphere in which your soul breathes, so it must be chosen with awareness. The company you keep determines the direction of your growth. When you are among people who complain, blame, or carry bitterness, you unconsciously begin to mirror that energy. But when you spend time with those who speak truthfully, live consciously, and act with kindness, your own energy begins to elevate. Gentle energy is not weak, it is powerful in its stillness. It calms storms without fighting them and heals wounds without words. It teaches you that peace is contagious when carried with sincerity. Being around gentle energy means surrounding yourself with authenticity. It is not about people who always smile or speak softly, but those whose presence brings stability and honesty. Such people do not drain you, they restore you. They do not demand from you, they remind you of your own balance. Their energy makes you want to grow without pressure, to be kind without effort, and to remain soft without fear. They inspire you to live from your heart rather than your wounds. Protecting your energy is not selfishness, it is responsibility. When you allow toxic influences to stay close, you let them shape your emotions, thoughts, and actions. Choosing gentle company is an act of self-respect. It is deciding that peace matters more than approval and inner stability matters more than temporary excitement. The more peaceful your surroundings become, the clearer your vision grows. You begin to sense harmony even in silence, and that harmony becomes your strength. When you live among those who carry light, you start glowing without trying. Their calmness becomes your calmness, their clarity your reflection. The energy you choose daily builds the foundation of your emotional world. To stay soft in a hard world, you must create an environment where kindness is natural and gentleness is strength. What surrounds you eventually lives within you, so choose wisely what you let near your heart. Kindness is not a favor to others, it is a declaration of who you are. When you act with genuine compassion, it reflects the depth and clarity of your own heart. True kindness is not dependent on whether it is earned or returned. It is not a tool to manipulate or a reward to gain approval. It is a natural expression of your inner balance and awareness, a mirror of the strength that resides in softness. When you practice kindness without expectation, you free yourself from the chains of judgment. The world often responds with hostility, indifference or ingratitude, yet these reactions do not diminish the value of your actions. To remain kind in such circumstances is to rise above the petty dynamics of reciprocity and ego. It is a choice to let your heart govern your behavior rather than the whims of the world. This type of kindness creates a subtle power that cannot be shaken by negativity. Kindness that is not contingent upon merit transforms relationships and situations. It changes the energy around you because it is authentic and unwavering. People may resist it, misunderstand it, or even exploit it, but its presence leaves a lasting impact. The act of giving without expectation softens not only the receiver but also the giver, creating a cycle of compassion that grows quietly yet relentlessly. It becomes a force that no hardship or cruelty can suppress. When kindness becomes habitual, it begins to shape your perception of life itself. You start to notice the subtle struggles of others and respond with empathy rather than judgment. You no longer wait for circumstances to be perfect or for others to be deserving. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to express generosity of spirit, patience and understanding. In this way, kindness is not just an action, it is the cultivation of a state of being that remains unshaken by external turbulence. To embody kindness when it is undeserved is to embody freedom. It liberates you from the cycles of resentment, expectation and retaliation. It allows your heart to remain soft and your spirit strong, untouched by the hardness of the world. Such kindness is not weakness, it is a quiet, unassailable power that radiates outward, influencing everything it touches. It is the seed from which true harmony and inner strength grow. Nature is not separate from you, it is the reflection of your own inner state. The trees, the rivers, the mountains and the winds all move with a rhythm that is neither forced nor rigid. They bend, flow and endure without resistance, showing resilience without hardness. By observing this, you realize that softness is not weakness and flexibility is not surrender. Nature teaches that life thrives not by fighting, but by aligning, adapting and remaining open. When you walk barefoot on the earth, you reconnect with a part of yourself that modern life often buries. The soil beneath your feet carries memory, energy and grounding that remind you of your own natural roots. Touching a tree, feeling the breeze, or listening to a river allows you to experience stillness in motion. You sense that strength does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers quietly in every leaf and every ripple. This connection softens the mind while strengthening the soul. The storms of nature demonstrate endurance without rigidity. A tree bends with the wind, a river curves around obstacles, and the mountains stand firm while weathering centuries of change. They do not resist or harden unnecessarily. Observing this teaches you that you too can face life's challenges with grace. Hardness may break under pressure, but flexibility and awareness allow you to endure without losing your essence. Nature embodies a balance of strength and softness that the human heart can mirror. Being in nature slows the relentless pace of thought. It provides a space where you are not constantly reacting to external pressures or internal anxieties. The rhythm of natural life teaches patience and acceptance. Watching a flower bloom or the sunrise reminds you that life unfolds on its own time and resisting that flow only creates friction. Immersed in this environment, your heart becomes more receptive, your mind more clear and your spirit more resilient. To remain connected to nature is to remain connected to your own inner tenderness. It reminds you that life does not demand hardness to survive, it demands awareness, presence and responsiveness. By observing the effortless balance in the world around you, you cultivate the ability to stay soft, grounded and alive even in a harsh world. Nature teaches that the strongest hearts are those that remain open, flowing and attuned to the subtle currents of life. Forgiveness is not a favor you give to someone else, it is a gift you give to yourself. Holding on to anger, resentment or pain is like carrying heavy stones in your chest. Every grudge weighs down the heart and clouds the mind, making life more difficult than it needs to be. Forgiveness releases that weight, not because the other person deserves it, but because your spirit deserves freedom. When you forgive, you reclaim the space inside yourself that was stolen by bitterness. To forgive does not mean to forget or condone what was done. It means to see clearly without being enslaved by the memory of hurt. You acknowledge the pain, you recognize the injustice, and then you choose not to let it define your life. Forgiveness transforms the sharp edges of suffering into a path of clarity. It allows your heart to remain soft and open instead of hardened by grudges and lingering resentment. When you forgive, you stop repeating the same emotional patterns. Anger and resentment create loops in your mind that replay over and over, preventing growth and peace. By releasing these emotions, you break the cycle of suffering. Your energy becomes lighter, your thoughts clearer, and your actions more conscious. Forgiveness is the process of unshackling yourself from the chains of past wounds and reclaiming your own power. Forgiveness also allows compassion to arise naturally. When the heart is not weighed down by bitterness, It can see the humanity in others, even those who caused harm. It does not excuse wrong actions but understands that everyone acts from their own limitations, fears and conditioning. This understanding does not weaken you, it strengthens you by allowing your heart to remain soft while your mind stays aware. The act of forgiving is the ultimate liberation. It frees your heart from the burdens that harden it and restores fluidity to your spirit. By choosing forgiveness, you choose life over bitterness, growth over stagnation, and freedom over imprisonment. Every time you forgive, you remind yourself that your inner peace is more valuable than any grievance and that a soft heart is the foundation of true strength. Living with awareness means refusing to be pulled by every disturbance that comes your way. The world is full of sudden shocks, conflicts, and pressures that demand immediate reaction. Most people respond unconsciously, allowing external chaos to dictate their emotions, decisions, and energy. This constant reactivity hardens the heart and scatters the mind. Awareness, on the other hand, gives you the power to observe without being consumed. It allows you to see situations clearly before you respond, preserving your inner balance and strength. Clarity, not impulse. Awareness keeps your heart soft and your soul strong. In a world that constantly pushes you to armor yourself, dare to stay open. The hard world does not need more hard hearts, it needs awakened ones. A soft heart is not a weak one, it is a heart that has seen pain, faced storms, and still chooses love. That is the highest form of strength.